What's up, YouTube? It's the Toro Tech, and today we're going to be talking about the iPhone 12 Pro and whether you should be upgrading or not. So without further ado, let's get into the good, the bad, the ugly. Let's do it. So the question still remains, should you upgrade? This is the Toro Tech, and we're going to get into it. So everybody's been saying, and you've been reading probably, that you should upgrade to the new iPhone 12 Pro or the iPhone 12 Pro Max. But should you really? That still is outstanding. I haven't really seen a review that really answers my questions. And so we're going to hopefully answer them. When we talk about the screen or the refresh rate, if we look here, we'll notice these are specs between the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. And you'll notice there is no real difference between the phones related to the screen. The things that you're really going to actually see the difference in, or supposedly see the difference in, is when we talk about the processor. But when you talk about the screen itself, beyond they're both being OLED screens, and there is a ceramic coating over the iPhone 12 Pro, which is supposed to increase the drop protection by four time drop protection. And I'm not about to go test that. Beyond that, there really isn't much of a difference between the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the iPhone 12 Pro or 12 Pro Max in relation to the screen. Now, where you will see a difference when the A14 processor in the new iPhone 12 Pro. There is a big difference related to that, and it's not so much even the overall CPU utilization, because there's only a 15% increase. But what you will see is that 15% increase in CPU utilization over the iPhone 11 Pro or Pro Max, but you also have a 30% reduction in battery usage. That's a big thing, and that's a big benefit, because I need to know that I have the most processing power with the least battery drain while I'm on the go. I don't want to be stuck in an airport, on the road, somewhere without a battery for that matter. And furthermore, to have more processing power. I have taken both devices, and I did do tertiary, testing, some real high level testing of functionality based things, reading emails, going through phone, answering phone calls. I did 1 or 2 Zoom calls, and I didn't see that much of a difference between the two phones. Should you upgrade? Well, let's talk about the camera first. If I show you this picture that I took with an iPhone 11 Pro Max last year with the sun that had just went down, probably about 15 to 20 minutes before the picture was actually taken, you'll see that it's pretty decent in low light. All of the good mapping of color within the photo. Now, if I go one step further and I show you the picture that I took last week with the iPhone 12 Pro, you're gonna say, it's kind of yellow. I see some dogs, but here's the key to this photo. There wasn't any, it looks like there was overhead light, but there was no light in the photo at all. The only light that you could see, the only light that was actually in the photo was on their little vests that they have, like a little flashlights that are sitting on there. That's all the light that you had. This was just done with the iPhone 12 Pro low light sensors and processing, right? So that A14 chip that's doing all that extra processing, this is one of the things that it's actually doing to process. Here's another one that I want to show you, and this was down a street, not very far, and it looks like it's roughly 7 o'clock in the evening, but this was also taken at about 11 o'clock at night, and there's very little light. Now, I can say that this same photo with an iPhone 11 Pro, iPhone 11 Pro Max, doesn't look anywhere near like this. So with low light and the portrait low light and all of those different features, amazing, absolutely amazing. But my question to you is, how often are you going to be taking pictures in the dead of night with no light in the middle of nowhere of something that's staying still? Yeah, that's right. It has to stay still. Because the minute it moves, I don't care how good the camera is, it turns into a blurry mess. Is it enough of a reason to upgrade your phone? I don't know. How much do you do? Do you really go out in the middle of nowhere and take pictures of random things that are completely and absolutely still? All right. So to summarize all of that about the A14 and the camera and the processing, bottom line, The camera isn't that much different in the daytime and not much different in the nighttime unless you take pictures of a still object using their night mode technology along with their lenses and processors. So you're gonna have to answer the question, can you do this? Is this something that would make you upgrade? So before we start talking about all of the good, the amazing things that I wanna talk about, because we've kind of talked about some of the good, gotta talk about the bad. I think it's the bad. So storage, okay? Storage is storage. You're probably looking at me going, why do I care about storage? Everything's in the cloud. So whether it's in the cloud, you always have to have a version of it on your phone or device of some kind. I generally carry my phone. Okay. So with that being said, I deal with, I look into my storage. I don't always get the top end, but I also don't get the bottom end because 64 gigs never has been enough. And so 256 seems to be my magic number. You know, all of the different things that I do, I've never filled up my phone, and I take hundreds of photos and hundreds of videos and 4K and all the other types of things that you can do with the phone. Now, granted, this is going to be the first phone in terms of an iPhone 12 Pro that I can actually record in ProRAW, which will probably take up a lot more space, which is probably why they took the base level and went from 64 gigs to 128 gigs. But they didn't do anything else with any of the other levels. Storage is a big deal for that business person. Now, they went from 64 gigs to 128 gigs. Now, the other levels being 256 and 512, exactly the same. I think it was I don't know if they could have gone larger, but I think that they kind of like skated out of that piece. Okay, without further ado, here it is, the good, the absolute best. We talk about connectivity. What do we mean? So when we talk about connectivity, we're talking about Wi-Fi, we're talking 5G, we're talking cell service, we're talking all of the things that as a road warrior, you live and die by. So 5G. And so when I got the phone, I was like, whoa, unwrap the phone, let me get into it, let me get in it, let me try these speeds out. But then I hit like a brick wall of disappointment because then I was like, where's my 5G? So then I had to go online and figure out, wait a minute, 5G's everywhere, but not really everywhere. Yeah, I said that. 5G's everywhere, but not really everywhere. So in my place, or my city that I live in downtown, there seems to be a lot of hot spots related to 5G. It's pretty widespread in downtown. Problem is, I'm about 45 minutes from downtown. I don't ever go to downtown. I don't ever want to go to downtown. I don't work in downtown. I don't ever want to be in downtown. Just my thing. I live in the suburbs. I like the suburbs. And in the suburbs, we have a very, 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 very small amount of 5G. So I did some speed tests of the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the iPhone 12 Pro on 4G, which I was still very, very disappointed about, almost in tears. I did the test, and this is what I got. The iPhone 11 Pro Max got this, and the iPhone 12 Pro got this and this. A 611 and 618% increase respectively between the two speeds. And it wasn't one time. I did them each 5 times each, and they roughly averaged out to those numbers. So just on 4G, you're seeing a massive increase in speed. And I was blown away by that alone. So then I really had to go find 5G. And when I did finally find 5G, now it was in one area of my town. It's got the coffee shops and things, which is cool. But it was also, there was one place that was kind of in the middle of a soccer field. I don't know how much you really need 5G while playing soccer for 7th graders. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Found it, did it, tested it. And when I did, I was able to pull numbers like this. Read it. That's right. 777 megabits on average. 5 tests, 777 megabits. Walked all over that soccer field. That is amazing. That is amazing. That in itself trumps everything else that we've talked about so far. But there is a but. It's this. You see that? That's right. Read that. Exactly. You don't get 5G when you have dual SIMs. So if you're a business person like this guy who's got 2 SIMs in one phone so that I don't carry around 2 phones all day, you don't get 5G. Disappointing. You turn one off and it'll come back. You turn another one off, it'll come back. Now, personally, when 5G is spread out, like more than just little slivers or in the middle of a soccer field, this will be more of an issue. So I'm really praying that next year or the year after that it actually gets fixed and you can actually have 5G whether you have dual SIMs or not, because it's kind of an annoyance and it's the ugliest thing I could find, because there really, to me, when I looked at the phone, wasn't this drive to want to upgrade the phone and all the things that they were talking about. It didn't have the pizzazz. The colors were cool, right? But other than that, it really wasn't like, and I'm an Apple guy, Apple environment everywhere here that I live and work. So if you found value in this video, please hit like, comment, hit the little bell, and subscribe. Until next time, this is the Toro Tech, and this has been the iPhone 12 Pro versus the iPhone 11 Pro Max review. Hopefully it's helped you. And until next time.